Hello there. The Cathedral ready to give you a live tour of construction that is going on the lower level of the cathedral. Wait a couple of minutes here to see a few people get online, and then we'll take. So I think Kathleen placed in the memo box on this live feed that if you do have questions, you can type those in and we'll answer any and all questions that you put out there. So please fire away if you see things or you want clarity or whatever you want, put it in there. Are people joining?
Not yet.
Not yet?
There we go. Yes, they are.
Okay. Who do we have?
Jane Sloan is watching right now.
All right, Jane. Welcome, Jane.
Beth Henry's watching.
Beth Henry's there.
Looks like Jerry Potter and Deacon Stice are here.
Okay, welcome, Deacon. You're getting stir crazy at home. I'm sorry you don't get to see this face every day in person. Who else is there?
Leila Safavi is here.
Welcome, Leila.
And it only pops up the ones that I'm friends with. Okay. So we've got more people that are watching.
Okay, let me give it about 30 more seconds and we'll take off just to not leave anybody behind.
People are saying that you look good, Father, in that helmet.
You like this hat? I mean, come on. It is stylish, custom fit, you know, as it says. Put safety first. Even if that means wearing a goofy hat that, you know, really messes up my hair. But you're erect or safe when you go into an active construction site. All right, we ready?
Yep.
Okay, so just to give you an orientation of where we are starting. So we are standing in the entryway of the offices / rectory. And so we're going to go through the door here that takes us directly into the west end of the Halpine room. And so we're going to go to the Halpine room, we'll take you to the kitchen, and then on into the staircase. You can kind of see the work that they're beginning to do for the elevator shaft, and then we'll take you into the hiring auditorium. And the good news is they are already beginning to build things back. So come on in. So we are standing in the middle of the Halpine room, and so if Kathleen wants to just kind of do us kind of a around the room video screen shot here, I'll keep talking. So as you remember, this room had a drop ceiling in it that has been completely taken out, and as you can see up in the ceiling area, kind of the sprinkler system is staying the same, and a lot of the infrastructure in regards to the electrical work will stay the same, but we'll be getting a new grid and new lighting, and that lighting will have the ability to have several settings, so that way if we're doing multimedia presentations in here, we'll be able to have different light settings based upon what we're doing with the space. You may remember the walls had on where the open kind of blocks are, had this almost like a felt wallpaper that was on it. So that's been removed, and these upper panels will actually will come back in with a kind of a lighter paint color, and the lower parts of these walls will remain the same color. That'll just get refreshed and updated and cleaned up, and all the nicks that have happened over the years of good sturdy use will be fixed. And so the room will have again the darker lower panel, and then the upper part of the room will be a little bit crisper, lighter color to lighten the room up. Up here in the front, you'll remember where the cabinet was that had a TV behind those doors, and so that will end up getting filled in a solid wall, and where that hole has been cut in the back, that's now a door that will come into a storage closet where we can keep all of the AV equipment, and a new LCD projector and screen will be placed in this room, and we'll forego a traditional TV in here, so that way we can have again some of the most up-to-date multimedia equipment to offer different programming for the future, for different meetings that need access to PowerPoint and other sorts of modern day technology. And so this room, again, will also get new carpet. And so it's kind of fun when you do projects like this, you kind of get to peel back the ages. And so what you're looking at right now on the floor, we believe, is probably the original tile that would have been put in here. And so we're having to be kind of careful because some of it is coming off, and we're planning on kind of going back over top of this with some carpet. So that's the Halpine room in a nutshell. Let's move on into the kitchen area. This is a very exciting time to be coming to the kitchen because they're having to put all of the new plumbing into the floor, and so they cut the floor open. And as I was talking to the plumbers the other day, I said it's pretty cool to think about this dirt has not seen light in 120 years. And so to be able to kind of open this floor up and to dig in this dirt that has not been touched in many years, is kind of a cool thing to think about as it relates to the age of this building and being able to be a part of this project right now, and then tucking it all back in, and maybe the rector 120 years from now will be opening it back up again and saying, oh look, it's 200 and some year old dirt that has not been touched. So anyways, I know I'm kind of a geek on some of these little construction things, so come on in here. So where we're standing right now is the kitchen that is off of the Halpine room. And so you may remember how these rooms were divided up. So this was a solid wall that was here with the stove that sat against this wall, and there was a door that went into the larger kitchen, and there was a large island that sat in the middle of this room with cabinets here and refrigerators over here. And so in the renovation of the bathrooms and the kitchens, ultimately what has happened is this will remain an open concept here because we are going to lose a part of the larger kitchen area to the new men and women's restrooms. And so again, what you're seeing is they're having to put in all new floor piping in order to accommodate the new bathrooms, as well as updating the plumbing infrastructure for our dishwasher, for our sinks, and everything else obviously that goes into a kitchen. And so if Kathleen walks very carefully, we can kind of point out some cool things, again, that we have uncovered in the process. Again, here I am going to kind of geek out on history. This is one of the sewer pipes that's original. So that goes back to the building of the cathedral. So this is one of our own personal sewer lines that services the downstairs of the cathedral building. If we come over here and jump over this curb, but over the gap. This is what I also find this fascinating as well. So this actually is one of the city's sewer lines that runs north to south, and it runs directly under the cathedral. And so again, you're looking at a pipe that has been in service and is continuing to be in service today, that has been operating for over 120 years. And so they've checked it, they've pressurized it, and everything seems to be functioning as we would hope. And again, so this will all get covered back up, and it'll continue to work just fine. If you kind of go around the room again here, over here is where the dishwasher once sat, and it actually will end up going back there whenever this project is done. That is one of the pieces of equipment that still is in good condition. We'll clean it up and get it, make sure all of it's working properly. These air conditioners that are in the windows will come out, and over the years they have preserved those lower pieces of stained glass, and so we'll put those back in and complete those windows. Up here on the wall, again, and something else that's really kind of a beautiful part of construction projects, you can see some of the original stenciling that was stenciled again when the cathedral was built, and so that goes back again about 120 years. So a beautiful stenciling that's there, and they'll take those headers out that are covering a part of the windows, and so the new ceiling, when it comes back in here, will go almost to where the stencil's at, and so we'll have the whole view of the windows returned to us in the renovation project. This beautiful heater that's hanging over here on the side of the room will go out as well, and so new central heating and air will get put into this room, so we don't have to use window units anymore or use this standalone heater. This whole the part of this renovation project is new air conditioning and new heating systems that will keep up with the demands of a hot kitchen, both in the winter in the summer. And so we're very happy to have new ventilation as a part of this project. Unfortunately, on some of these pieces of the stenciling, because all of this is the original plaster, when they go to do any sort of removal of these headers, we probably will lose that, but they're going to try to kind of cut and score and pull out some of these pieces of stenciling that we can keep in our archives, or maybe even kind of reframe and use in some capacity and hanging them on our walls and in our renovated space. But really kind of a nice view into the past as they uncovered that by taking the current ceiling structure out of the kitchen.
Jane says to bless the sewer line when you get the chance.
Jane, I'll bless the sewer line, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now it will never break. We pray that the Lord will keep it safe for another 120 years. Another rector can take care of that problem. So if you go over on this side, again, this is still intact as it was before we began the project. So ultimately, we're also able to use this vent hood. It's in very good condition, and our stoves, we'll get some updates to them as well. And so we're able to reuse those stoves as well and not have to take on the expense of new cooktops. But ultimately, this vent hood will rotate and sit now no longer on the north-south axis, but will sit on the east and west axis, because the back wall of where this vent will sit eventually will become the new women's restrooms. And I know all of you ladies who are watching this afternoon are very excited that we will have 5 toilets for you to use in the new women's restroom, which is a bit of an upgrade from what we currently have. But again, there are always sacrifices when you only have so much square footage to deal with. And so some of the current kitchen project will have to be given way for the bathrooms, but I think that we'll be okay in regards to that. So this will turn, and this will become, again, the area where we will do the actual active cooking in the kitchen. And so if you'll come on around this way, again, if you just look at the floor, you can see, again, all the new piping going in that will be servicing the new toilets and the urinals, as well as the sinks in the bathrooms. And so more or less, the men's restroom will run down through here, and then the women's restroom will more or less run down through here and take up this part of the current kitchen, and the wall will come here, and then all of this space and that space will be the new kitchen when the project is completed.
David says that your excitement makes him smile.
I'm very excited. Here we go. Let's come on out here. The lights got turned out. I'm going to figure out how to turn them back on. Here's a fun little thing to see as well. So this was, again, what we just stepped out of. We just came through this was the men's bathroom here, and this was the ladies' restroom here, and right behind you was where we got our coffee and donuts, and the Knights of Columbus would serve us our yummy breakfasts through this window. And again, just to give you an orientation of where we are. So women's restroom was there, men's restroom was there. There are 2 stained glass windows that have kind of been tucked away back in a closet that was here. And there was also one that was tucked back in the men's restroom that was there that we have to take out, because the new staircase will come down and let us out right in this hallway, because the elevator is being sunk into the current staircase. So as they were taking these windows out, I said, what are you going to do with those windows? And they said, well, we'll package them up and we'll give them back to you for your own use. And so I asked the architect to measure the windows, the size of the windows, and then I went into the auditorium and measured the 2 niches that are on the right and the left-hand side of the stage. And it was a perfect fit. And so we're going to be able to take these beautiful stained glass windows that are coming out of the structure, kind of recreate a frame around them, and to sink them into the niches on the right and the left-hand side of the stage and backlight them, so that way we have their beauty continuing to be appreciated in the new renovation of downstairs. And so I was very excited that was able to have very, very easily modifications to the project. All right. We still good?
Yes.
Am I boring you all to death? I hope not. Okay, so here is the current staircase. It's a little dark in here, my apologies. But this is going to be one of the most fascinating projects, or part of the projects of the whole thing. Because these stairs, as you can already see, have to come out. And there is an excavation group that's coming out of Kansas City. They have a specialty in doing kind of very unique and complicated excavation projects. So more or less, these stairs will come all the way out, all the way back to the top of where the current stairs are, and the elevator shaft will more or less run right here. And so if you think about it, they have to excavate not just down to the floor level where we were, but they have to go an additional, I think, 4 to 6 feet below kind of where we were standing a few minutes ago in order to receive the elevator down into the ground. And then it'll stop, obviously, in the basement level. It'll stop at the level as you come in on the south entrance, and it'll also stop, obviously, up at the cathedral level to let us out, more or less, where the stained glass window was. The stained glass window has been removed, and it will actually get kind of replaced on the front of the elevator shaft. And so they'll build a nice kind of wooden case to receive the window, and then they'll backlight the window to kind of mimic where it was currently in the structure. I had a wonderful conversation today with the architect who called and said, I think if I modify the plans just a little bit, we can actually maintain the integrity of the arched window as the doorway in which the elevator lets us out into the cathedral. And so there's a very exciting, again, win for us today as we were able to maintain kind of the full architectural integrity of the arch where the window was on the upper side of the staircase. And so more or less kind of where we're standing today is going to be a large hole soon in order for the elevator to go in. The elevator has been ordered. It takes about 2 months for it to be custom built for us, and so but the excavation is going to take a little while to complete. And so you can see here on the side, they've already taken out the stones that were in the staircase, and those are being preserved, and we will kind of reincorporate those stones back into the new staircase again to mimic the architectural design of the cathedral, again trying to maintain to the best of our ability every aspect of the architecture of the cathedral. And so we're very happy that this is underway. It's soon to be very noisy here, lots of jackhammering and digging and so forth. And you can see again, it's just strange to see all of this big equipment inside the building, but it's filling up with all kinds of stuff. And I'm told they're actually bringing in a gas-powered digger next week that has some filtration system on it that keeps the carbon monoxide from building up. And so I hope it works. Otherwise, Father Carvajal is going to get very sleepy while he's celebrating Mass. So let's keep going. So again, just your orientation, you would come down the stairs into the basement, and normally you would turn right into the nursery. But you can see that the walls have been removed for the nursery. Part of the vision of the building committee as they began this project several years ago was to kind of return the auditorium to the size that it was in the beginning as a way to get more seating and just kind of more space for us to gather as a community. And so this has been completely reopened. And again, straight ahead was, again, the door that you would have used traditionally to go into the auditorium. And then again, to the right was the hallway on around. And so a whole wall here has already been removed. And so if you remember, you kind of came down, the Coke machine was sitting here, and you came on around down the hallway, again, just to keep giving you the orientation of where we are. Let me see if I can find the light switches for this, because I'm not sure if they're still working where they once were before.
Father Michael's asking if we will still be able to enter from outside where we just were and go up the stairs to the cathedral.
Yes. So the stairs off, as you come in on the south entrance, the stairs off to the right that we have always used will not be messed with. So ultimately it's just the downstairs the stairs coming directly into the basement area, the lower level, that will be excavated, but a new set of stairs will be built to the west. And again, come in where I had pointed out here. The stairs will get bumped out this way, and then you'll come in on a staircase down through here. So elevator there, and the stairs are just more or less kind of bumped out and moved over here, but the stairs going up on the south side will continue to be used as they are right now. I don't know where the light is. Let me look one more place. There's going to be a cord somewhere. I was told they were going to leave it all on for me, but I guess it got lost in the mix of today. There's a cord. There it is.
Is that what's connected to this?
Plugging there. That's going there. I'll find it. Bear with me. It's not yet.
That looks pretty promising.
Aha, found it.
Something's beeping now. It stopped. Hey, hey.
That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
You can see me again. Can you see anything? Is it too dark?
No, you can still see stuff.
Okay, so we'll have to make do with this. So again, you can see across the room where these beams are was the wall, again, where the auditorium stopped, and so that's now been opened, so we're able to kind of regain the whole floor space. You can see that they've already begun kind of framing. So it was interesting, it only took them about 12 days to demo everything. So the demo crew came in with their hammers and completely kind of gutted the place, and they've already begun building back the structure that will, again, begin to define this space. If you come over here, again, just kind of to revisit these images, and again, it's just really kind of beautiful to see. This was all work that that I inherited when I got here, work that had been envisioned. Kind of the plan and the feel of the room was set, and so you can kind of get a little taste of what this room will look like. So a lot of wood finishes, beams, and wood paneling also on the side walls. And so as you look out into the room and see these kind of bump outs here and the bump outs again around these columns, they are going to be finished with a nice wood finish on all of the beams, the columns I should say, and then you'll have kind of wooden beautiful kind of wooden paneling coming up on the side here as well. And so it will be a elegant but functional space for us. I think one of the things that was a part of the conversation among the building committee during the planning of this is they wanted it to be elegant enough, to host a nice wedding reception for those who choose to have their wedding here at the cathedral, but it also has to be functional because this room is used a lot by the parishioners, by the parish for a whole variety of events, Wednesdays at the cathedral, and other sorts of parish-based events. And so it needs to be able to be dressed up, but also it needs to be able to be used on all the practical ways in which we celebrate life together here as a community. And so that's more or less the gist of this room. The stage will get a new stage curtain, so the orange stage curtain has disappeared, as well as the stage, as you can see, will get a new ceiling grid, and then all of the walls will be updated with the current color scheme that is going in down here in the auditorium. So with that, let's see what questions are posted. So let's walk back over to the Alpine room where the lights have now been turned off in there as well. So we might just stand in the hallway where the lights are on and I'll answer your questions there.
If you have any more questions for Father Kastl, go ahead and comment them now, and we will go ahead and ask them. One question that we had earlier was if we're going to maintain having a door from the rectory into the lower level.
We will maintain a door from the rectory into the lower level, and that has to do with the fire codes. And so also it's just practical too. It's nice to be able to go between the two buildings, but it is one of the regress options for the Alpine room that's mandated by the fire code. So one of the things, whenever you do a project like this, you take the old out and you put new things in, you have to bring your whole building up to code. And so one of the things that will go in is a new fire panel. One of the things that's necessary today is an audible command coming from a fire panel, letting us know fire exit. And so that will happen, but all of the doors on the building have to be upgraded to meet fire code as well. And one of those doors that will get updated is the door between the Alpine room and the rectory.
Another question that we have is, when will this all be completed?
No, so everything seems to be on track right now. That's the good news. If not even a little bit ahead of schedule. So the hope was that we would have it done by the end of October. There's a large diocesan event that's happening. One of the masses is happening here, and so they would need kind of the bathrooms and all that stuff. And so that's what we've given the builders as like a drop dead has to be done by the end of October. But all of the construction schedules that keep getting produced had the majority of the heavy kind of lifting done even by like the end of July and the first part of August. But we probably will not have occupancy again until sometime in September, mainly because the punch list and the time that it takes to do all the finishes takes a bit of time. So probably my hope is that we can use it again by early to late September.
Is the tour of the new nursery or the former chapel on our next tour?
It is not, because they're doing some work in there right now, and they've asked us not to go into the chapel, or I would have taken you in there. So.
Beth says no questions, but thank you for showing us how it's coming along. She was anxious to see it.
It's exciting. I will tell you, again, my dad is an electrical contractor, and I grew up wiring houses with him as a kid. And so some of this is kind of in my blood. And so every time I've had the opportunity of doing a building project as a priest, I feel like I'm back at the side of my dad again, and I'm very appreciative of the insight that he gave me into building projects. And so I'm happy to be kind of working with Manhattan and Architects Inc. on this project. It's, again, so far so good. No major change orders, no major surprises. We're on budget and we're on time, which is the good news. One piece that obviously I can't show you is the work for the tuck pointing and the shingles and some of the window repairs. We broke the contract kind of up into two pieces: the lower level work, and then we have an envelope consultant give us a separate kind of bid package for the exterior work of the cathedral. And so that is still out for bid right now, and hopefully we'll be getting those bids solidified in the next few weeks, and then you'll start to see work on the outside of the cathedral again, because another major part of this project, over $1 million worth of the money that was raised, is for the exterior updates. And so if you look around when you come, if you ever just take time to stare at the walls of the cathedral, you can see where the mortar joints on many areas has deteriorated, which gives way to letting moisture in, which obviously gives way to interior issues. And so that's such a big part of the project. And again, it's one of those things, sometimes it's not as exciting, to put money truly into mortar of the cathedral, but that is such an integral part of the integrity of our building, is making sure that the exterior is watertight and keeps us safe inside from the outside elements.
So you went ahead and answered Jeannie Bracken's question, but Pam wants to know, will the bride's room remain like it is?
The bride's room, we should talk about the bride's room. So the bride's room is getting a little bit of a refresh, and so some new carpet, new painting. The bride's room bathroom is not a part of this project, but it will be dealt with in the future.
Donna wants to know if the Halpine Room will keep its name.
It will. It'll remain the same. All the rooms will maintain the same names as they have right now.
Constance says that they are new to the parish, but they want to know what the stage is used for.
So the stage is used for choir. So right now the choir uses the stage for their practice during the week. They also use the stage to warm up before the 10 and the noon mass. And then we sometimes, again, have different events that would necessitate the use of a stage. The school uses it for their productions. I dare say there have been parish-based little plays and things as well. And so the stage actually gets used quite a bit throughout the year.
Mary asks, where will the stained glass windows you spoke of earlier be moved to?
Good question. So again, they'll go right into here. So they fit perfectly. So imagine me as a stained glass window. That's what they'll be in here, but obviously much more beautiful than my pose. And then they will have, again, backlighting. And so for the sake of symmetry, that same width of the niche is the same on the right and the left-hand side of the stage. And the bottom of the window, again, will align with the wainscoting that will come up to here. And then proportionately, according up to the top, the distance here kind of to the top of the window, so kind of sink right into the middle on the right and the left-hand side of the stage.
Jazz asks, do you miss having the cathedral full on Sundays?
I cannot wait to have the cathedral full on Sundays. And if I hang out with that thought too long, it'll make me cry, because I think all of us are missing you all, and I know that you all are missing being at Mass. And so it'll make the day that we can all come back together ever sweeter. And I think being, again, away from community, away from the sacraments, it is my prayer that we just all come back with a greater kind of vigor and appreciation for the gift and beauty of community and the gift and beauty of the sacraments of the church. But know that the priest in the rectory are just longing for the day that life returns to normal and we get to have kind of unlimited access to you and you to us. And so yes, I cannot wait till that day happens.
Jerry wants to know if they have fixed the flooding issue that we've had a problem with in the past.
Jerry, you would ask the hard questions about water. I'm leaving it to you. And so yes, Jerry, the water is going to be fixed. So one other piece of this project, which I should have mentioned, is a new underground drainage line that is getting put in. So if you can think about the kind of the alley between the school and the cathedral, they will ultimately dig an underground, actually we'll put an underground drainage pipe, more or less from, I would say, probably 25 to 30 feet off of the east end of the school going west. So they'll start there and they'll run it all the way out to the city sewer. And then that line will receive all of the water coming off of the north side of the school, and will receive all of the water that's coming off of the roof on the south side of the cathedral. So ultimately, the watershed coming from the school and the watershed coming from the cathedral will come down through the roof drains into the word just slipped my mind, into the gutter, and the gutters will tie directly into that underground line, and that will take it out to the street. And they believe, they've had multiple engineers look at this, they believe that it will actually fix the problem, because if you think about all the water that comes off both of those roofs dumping into that interior alleyway, draining on top of the asphalt. And there's a bumper that's there, and then there's also one little underground drain that oftentimes gets clogged that's there, and it pushes it right over top and down into the window wells. And so taking it underground will fix the problem, and we will continue to maintain the sump pumps that are currently installed and operational in the window wells. In the event that something malfunctions with that new drain, we have a secondary backup to keep flooding from happening down in the basement. And so all of the water issues that have happened have come into the basement from the south side, flooding towards the north. Our north window wells, we feel that they have sump pumps as well, but there's little to no risk of water coming in from the north. It's the south side because of the rain coming off of both of those roof lines.
That's it as far as our questions.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for your support of the project. Again, it really is. It is really an amazing gift that all of you who have given to the Elevate campaign have given to the cathedral. What you're doing now in making this investment is really setting this community up for many, many years of beautiful space for us to gather. And I think what we'll find is, again, as some of the updates are made and it becomes more functional, I think you will see more and more gatherings happening here at the cathedral, both within the parish, which to me is very, very important that we have places of integrity to gather, but also you'll see other, I think, diocesan events and things begin to happen here more often as well because of updated bathrooms, functional kitchen, and spaces that have up-to-date technology as well. So thank you for making the investment. Know that we're praying for you. We miss you, and stay safe out there, and God bless.